Okay, so what we're going to do now is show you how to create a smoky eye. This is going to be more of an evening look, a bit more of a glam look. So the first step is to apply a eye primer, and this is the Urban Decay eyeshadow primer potion in Enigma. So I'm going to apply this all over the lid as a base, and this is going to help your eyeshadow to stay so it doesn't start to crease. So I'm just going to apply the primer with a brush, but you could apply this with your fingers. You just close your eyes, and we're just going to go all over the lid, up to the brow bone. You can get your primers in a different shades. This is kind of like a skin tone shade. Okay, next we can move on to your eyeshadow. Okay, so for the eyeshadow, I'm going to use this Huda Beauty palette, and the shades that I'm going to use 3 shades. So I'm going to do, on the lid, we're going to do Trust Fund, which is a shimmery shade, and then the transition colour to go into the darker shade, we'll use Sandalwood, and then we're going to go into a darker shade on the outer lid and underneath, and that will be a mix of Bossy and Cocoa. Okay, so we're going to start by applying the eyeshadow. So what I'm going to use first is the shade Trust Fund, and this is going to go all over the eyelid, and I'm using a flat eyeshadow brush to apply this. Close your eyes with me. I'm just going to lean on a cotton pad, as we've already done Elise's base, and we don't want to get any fallout onto the skin. So this shade is perfect for an evening look, as it's sparkly and shimmery, a bit more glamorous. So just patting that onto the lid. I'm pretty much covering the whole lid, just slightly less on the outer edge, as this is going to be darker. Okay, open your eye for me. Okay, and I'm just going to do exactly the same thing on the other eye, and close your eyes for me. And then look over to this side. Okay, so next we're going to go in with this shade here, Sandalwood, and this is going to be our transition colour. So if you close your eyes to me, this is going to go on the outer edge here from the centre, blending it outwards, all up to the crease and slightly above the crease. So your transition shade is going to be in between your light and your darker shade, so it's going to make it easier to blend the two together. Okay, and I'm just going to use a fluffy brush to apply this. Close your eyes for me. So just gently blending from the centre of the lid outwards. Okay, open your eye for me. Okay, and close your eye. So we're also going to blend this slightly above the crease now. So open your eye for me. So when you can see, when the eye is open, you want to be able to make sure you can still see the eyeshadow above the lid. I'm going to go and do the other eye. Again, blending from the centre out. You don't want to have too much product on your brush, because otherwise once you put it on straight onto the eye, you're going to struggle blending it. So less is more, and it's easier to build up than put too much on and need to take it off. So I'm just doing little circular motions, really lightly. Okay, so now we're going to use our darker shade, which is going to create more depth, which is going to really create your smoky eye. So we're going to use the shade Cocoa and Bossy, just to mix the two together. Okay, so with the darker shade, close your eyes with me, you're going to do in the outer V here. So literally right down to the lash line and right up to the crease, and this bit's all going to be dark. Okay, open your eye for me. So you can now see it's starting to darken up on the outer edge here and just above the lid, above the crease slightly. Okay, do this one. Close your eyes for me. Okay, so also with the darker shade, we're now going to apply underneath the eye. So I'm going to use a smaller brush for this. And we're going in with shade Cocoa, the dark brown. Okay, so if you can look up for me. And we're just going really, really close to the lash line. Starting on the outer edge, because that's where you want most of the product to go. And then whatever's left on the brush, just gently blending it in to the inner corner. And look up for me a sec. And I'm just going to blend this out with a clean brush, no product on this, just to brush away any fallout and just to really blend the top and the bottom together. Okay, so once you've applied your eyeshadow, next step will be eyeliner. And we're going to do this just along the top of the eye, and we're just going to flick it out a tiny bit. So for this, I'm going to use the MAC Fluid Line Gel Liner in Black Track, and we're going to use this tiny little brush you can just about see by Smashbox. So we want the liner to be thinner and then slightly thicker on the outer edge. So I find with the gel liner it's really smooth and easy to use, but you can also use a pencil or a felt tip pen liner or even a liquid liner. That way you don't need to get a brush as well. And I'm just going to flick this out a tiny little bit at the edge. And look straight ahead for me. Okay, and there's our liner along the top. Just a thin line but slightly thicker towards the outer edge. And I'm just going to go over and do the other eye. And close your eyes. So again, starting in the corner, not right in the corner, but as close as you can get the brush. And really close to the lash line. Just gently dragging little lines towards the outer edge. And I'm just going to flip this out a tiny little bit. And look straight ahead for me. Okay, and there you have your eyeliner. So we're going to apply some mascara, but just before that we're going to use eyelash curler just to curl Elise's eyelashes slightly. So if you look down at the floor for me, I'm just going to lift the lid slightly to put the lashes into the curler, and then I'm just going to clamp just for a few seconds, about 10 seconds. You can release and re-clamp if you want to. Okay, and we're just going to go around and do the other eye. So just pulling the skin slightly to get the lashes in. And then clamping for about 10 seconds. By curling the lashes, you're really going to open the eye up more, ready for when you put the mascara on. So mascara, we're using the Max Factor Masterpiece Mascara in black. So if you look down at the floor for me, just going to roll it down the top and also underneath. Make sure you get right to the bottom of the lashes. Okay, and same on the other eye. Okay, straight ahead for me. So we're just going to leave a few seconds for this to dry, and then we'll get Elise to look up and we'll apply on her bottom lashes. Look up for me. Just going to gently wiggle the mascara wand onto the lashes. If you find this difficult, you can always do the brush this way and just use the very, very tip. Okay, and that's how to create your smoky eye. If you want to make this even more glamorous, you can apply some false lashes, and I'm going to show you how to apply those next. Okay, so now we're going to show you how to apply false lashes. This is really going to finish off your smoky eye look. So first of all, we're just going to take them off the packet. And I'm just going to check that they're the right width for Elise's eyes, because a lot of lashes are actually quite long and you'll find you need to trim them slightly to make them fit your eye shape. So if you look down at the floor for me, I'm just going to hold the lash on. So if you hold the lash near your eye, you'll realise whether it's too long and whether you need to trim it or not, but these ones are going to be okay for Elise. So first step is to apply the glue, and this is the Revlon Precision Clear Glue. And we're just going to apply that all along the top of the lashes. And the tip now is to leave it a couple of minutes just to start to dry so that it gets tacky, because if you apply it straight away it's going to be slippy and easy and harder to do. Okay, so once you've waited a couple of minutes for your glue to dry slightly, it's going to be tacky, so it's going to be easier to apply. I'm using tweezers because I find it easier to hold the lashes and place them onto the eye. So if you look down at the floor for me, so I'm just going to place the lash as close to the lash line as possible. I'm just going to get Elise to open her eyes to check that looks like it's in the right position. And then I'm going to get to look back down at the floor, and now I'm just going to press it on to make sure that it sticks. This is why you need to wait for the glue to dry slightly, because if you did this straight away, it would just slide. And open your eye. And that's one eye done. The glue is slightly white, but it does dry clear, but you can also get black glue if you wanted to. Okay, so we're just going to apply the next eyelash. So again, I've applied the glue and I've waited for it to dry, so it's slightly tacky now. And I'm going to get Elise to let down at the floor. And I'm just going to place the lash as close to the lash line as possible. Can you open your eye for me? Okay, and back down towards the floor. And I'm just going to press this on to make sure it's stuck. And open your eye. And that's how you apply false lashes. And this is our finished smoky eye look.